I mean, I'm just so happy because it's been how many years of this slow decline of my body, and then your mental state, it declines right along with it. And so I've just felt like almost subhuman a lot of times, like, why am I even here? Why am I fighting? Let me just let nature take its course. I can't do this. So from that to being given a new lease on life, I mean, dude, I'm so excited. I'm so happy. And I'm ready for anything. And I want to give back as much as I possibly can.
Absolutely. So speaking of gratitude, I want to ask you now, is there any opportunity, and knowing you as well as I do, I'm sure you're blowing up WhatsApp, you're making promises and calling people left and right. Is there any chance that you can maybe connect with the family or the person that donated that kidney to you?
So how it goes is, unfortunately, all I know is that it's a younger woman.
Mm-hmm.
She passed away. She was on life support, declared brain dead, and so they kept the organs alive because they were donating. And when you're an organ donor, you can save up to 8 lives, which is amazing to me. And so I was chosen to get one of the kidneys. And like I said, that family going through the worst day of their life ends up being the best day of my life, my new life. And how do you even begin to thank someone for that? How do you even begin to say that, hey, promise I'll be good and I'll earn this kidney, that your loved one, your wife, your mom, your sister, your daughter, whoever gave her life for me to live. That's been a really emotional thing for me because it's hard to grasp. You wonder, am I going to earn this? Am I going to be enough? I want to be the absolute best person I can so I can make it count. And I promised my wife, I promised the nurses and doctors that I'm going to make the most of this kidney, and I'm not going to take it for granted. I can tell you that much. But so from my end, they don't just put you in contact with the family. Obviously, they're dealing with the worst day of their life, but they give the recipients an opportunity to write a letter to the family. And so say whatever you want. I think mine's probably going to be 10 or 15 pages worth. I want them to know who I am, my background, my family. So they know, what I got planned. I want them to know everything they possibly could. And then if that family chooses to, they can get in contact with you, and then, you can go from there. So
okay.
I'm definitely going to write that letter. And that's going to be a hard one to write. I'm going to try to keep the tears off the paper while I'm writing it. But I absolutely know. I asked my wife a while ago, I was like, would you, do you want us to know? And she said, 150%. We want to know that family. We want to make sure that they know they can sleep at night. And that young woman, whoever she is, may she rest in peace. Her organ, and so part of her is alive in me, and we're going to absolutely make the most of that. It's been a real emotional thing.
Let me ask you to do it right now. Metaphysics obviously prevents you from interacting with this person because, as you said, she's passed on. But talk to her right now, and what would you say to her right now, and the gift that she has given you?
That it is truly the greatest gift a human being can receive, period. And I do not take that lightly. And I am going to try every day of my life to be the best possible person that I can be. And hopefully, in some way, I don't know how, but change the lives of others as well. And if that's any small consolation, I hope it reaches you or the family somewhere. But I'm going to do my best, Jason. I'm not a perfect man. Everyone knows that. But, you get a new life. You want to make the most of it. And that's what we're going to do. My wife and the kids and everyone.
Okay. And final question. Everybody wants to know, you've had 500 plus comments on Facebook, so many on Instagram, people liking the post and just sending you again the love that you gave us for so many years. People want to know, when do you plan to come back to Guam?
Well, that's the thing, Jace. I have to go to the clinic 3 times a week for the next 3 weeks or a month or so, follow-ups, because I'm on immunosuppressants. That's why I'm wearing the mask. I'm on steroids. My immune system is basically not working at all. So I'm super susceptible to things. So I want to make sure all that stuff is good. And then when I'm 100% healthy, the kids are doing great in school. A's and B's across the board. We're so happy for them. Their mental one is happier because, we feel like this weight has been lifted. And so with the kids doing so well in school, I think that's the most important thing for us right now. So we want to stick with that. So it's going to be, another few years before we even consider moving anywhere. And I know for sure, though, that I want to come back and visit at least. I owe the people of Guam that for all the love they've given me over the years. And we got to plan something, man. Get the biggest fiesta you can imagine together, because I've got some thank yous to throw out. Damn
right. Well, you can take the boy out of the island, but you never truly take the island out of the boy. And you are a shining example of that. And I got to tell you, man, on behalf of all of us here at KUAM, those of us that have already talked to you, we love you, man. And we are so, so, so happy that you've had this opportunity. And, just to see you in your current state and everything, like it means the world to us and everything. We love you, brother.
Thank you, Jason. I love you guys too. I miss everyone at KUAM. The people of Guam, again, I cannot thank you enough for all the love you've shown me over the years. It really helped me out through some dark times, and it means the world to me. I can't ever repay it, but I'm going to do my best. So thank you again. And it's great being on. It's great telling my story, and I look forward to the world.
Well, we absolutely know you're going to do the very best job, because that's just who you are, and you've always done that. But tell you what, I'm going to let you go, but go check your DMs on Twitter, because you got about like 600 messages waiting for you right now. People waiting to wish you well.
I appreciate it, Jason. Thank you. Again, if you need anything, reach out. I'm here for you guys.
All right. Same old Andy. All right, Andy, we love you, man.
Love you guys too.
All right, guys. Please stay tuned. HotSpot's back after this.
Get up-to-the-minute news, plus access to alerts, streaming radio, promotions, and more on your mobile device by downloading the KUAM News mobile app, available at the App Store now.
Say hello to the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app. Want a better look at your spending? With Money Map, you can automatically create budgets and manage where your money is going. Know when you have a green light, or when it's time to slow down, maybe cook more meals at home this week. Set your goals, track your progress, and find your way to exactly where you want to be with Money Map from the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app. It all starts with yes.
Lunches, snacks, we got diapers for baby girl. Oh, 7:15, we gotta go. Bread, milk. Gas for work. Remember to grab Joe Boy a birthday present. Half a day.
Hey, Molly, how much do you pay for daycare for the kids?
Over $600 a month. It's expensive.
Did you hear about the governor's program that covers up to $675 a month for childcare?
Wow, that would be a lifesaver with the rising cost of everything.
Check guamchildcare.com to apply. We qualified. I even booked an appointment for someone to walk me through the process.
guamchildcare.com. Okay, thanks. I'll apply today.
This ad is paid for with federal funds administered by DPHSS.
As the Decision 2022 race shapes up, keep it with KUAM News for all the news you need to know as you head to the polls. From weekly candidate profile analysis on the Hub on KUAM News HotSpot to our online candidate directory on KUAM.com, special features on KUAM Digital and KUAM News Primetime, plus live coverage of forums and debates. We're your one-stop source on every platform. Stay informed with KUAM News, your news leader, the voice of the Marianas.
We're living in a new world with new ways of communicating, connecting, and moving through life.
Every day seems to be marked with change, and with all these changes, you need trusted people you can rely on for advice and insights about the things that really matter.
Let Gina and I walk you through everything you need to know about real estate, from buying to selling to renting, and all the details in between.
Join us with Jason Solis every week on House to Home.
House to Home every Tuesday on KUAM News Extra, presented by Remax Diamond Realty.
KUAM News, winner of the 2022 Regional Edward R. Murrow Award for Excellence in Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion for the Culture Club.
We are back on the show, and it is, of course, Monday, so that means work week weather forecast. And who else would we bring in than the man with the plan, second only to Mother Nature herself when it comes to knowing what's going on in the atmosphere and what happened. Precipitation might be coming down on us. So, Landon, that was about the extent of my 5-syllable words as far as like weather and everything. I defer to you, buddy. But how are you doing, first of all?
I am doing good this week. I'm here on Guam again for just a couple more days, and then I go over to the airport right behind me and fly off to another location for the next couple weeks. So the next journey awaits.
Do you own property in the States? Because if not, you probably should. You probably save a ton of money, or you just Airbnb everything.
You know, I have a membership with Hilton and Marriott and whoever else wherever I'm traveling. So when I travel for these work trips, at least I get some points. Hopefully, I need to get that with rental cars as well.
Well, the gift that keeps on giving. My sister works in hospitality too, so you know she gets discounts all over the place. Well, okay. Well, before we get into the weather, I do want to ask you something. If you know, I like to time like little quirky things that have to do with the weather, right? How does traveling, if you're used to Guam's humidity and our climate and everything like that, for someone like yourself, right, who travels all the time and you go to all these, you know, you pass through Hawaii and they've got a completely different, you know, the island breeze than we do, and then you might go to Japan and then you go to the States and everything. What impact does that have on yourself? Maybe your respiratory system, or just, you know, your attitude even?
You know, it's always a change of scenery, kind of like a breath of fresh air. You're used to the hot and the humid weather over here, but when I was in Kansas City a couple of weeks ago, they were in their heat wave, and so everywhere I went, whether it was to the gym, the hotel lobby, the grocery store, the Walmart, Starbucks, everybody's talking about the weather, and it's all about the heat wave. And so we were looking at high temperatures daily around 100, 105 degrees. But I'm walking outside and I'm like, it actually feels pretty good. I mean, other than the sun beating down on my face, the heat felt great. It was a dry heat. It was very pleasant. But if you're not used to that, it could be a shock to your system. But for me, it was pleasant, especially working at the Kansas City Weather Service Training Center. It's freezing in there. And so I'm bundled up in a jacket and a hat. You walk outside and I'm not even breaking a sweat for 30 minutes.
It is a very, very interesting phenomenon to go through, because, like, you know, being on Guam, we're used to, like, you know, feeling like, you know, that thick, dense, humid air. Then you go like to the States, and, you know, like you said, for some of the southwestern states, we're getting charbroiled, and yet we're not sweating. So
yeah, you got to be careful about that, definitely.
Yeah. So what tips can you give maybe to other people who are on Guam right now, and, you know, we're experiencing the rainy season, but they have travel plans in the near future? What are Landon's pro tips on?
Definitely check the weather forecast, and you can either go to your Google browser and just check if you check flying out to Phoenix, go Phoenix weather forecast and see what the next 5 to 10 days will be. That'll give you a good idea of what's coming. But also check out the local weather service office over there, because myself and my counterparts, we're always putting forecasts out for every part of the United States. So go to the local weather forecast office for wherever you're traveling and find out their forecast, their detailed information. But especially if you're traveling in the wintertime, just a 4-hour flight to our north in December is going to give you a much different climate than what you have here on Guam. And so when you get out of that airplane, you might be staying in Japan. You might go from the airplane to the airport to the train, and you may not step foot outside until you get to your final destination at some train stop somewhere away from that airport. You walk out, it's a whole different scenery. And that was the case back in 2015 when Brandon, myself, and a couple of friends, we went up to northern Japan. They've never seen snow before. And so we flew up there to do a ski trip, and my friend is packing shorts and t-shirts, typical Guam attire.
Of course.
And I went to pick him up and I said, what are you doing? He said, I'm packing up. I said, this is for Japan? He's like, yeah. I said, come here. I took him to the kitchen, open up the freezer, and I said, stick your head in there. And I tried to shut the door on his head. I said, this is what you're going to be dealing with for about 4 days straight. This is what you need to plan and prepare for.
Also,
so you have to check
please don't replicate that at home, boys and girls. That's not what you want to do. Do as we say, not as we do on this show.
Yeah, so you really have to know what you're going to. If it's going to be snowy and icy, you have to know what that's going to feel like, especially when it's your entire body for hours or days on end. So check the weather forecast, plan ahead, be prepared, be safe. Absolutely. Okay. As for those of us who are landlocked on this beautiful island of ours, like myself, I'm going to be here for, at least the next 2 weeks, as far as I know. The weather's been like really, really changing. It's great one moment, raining down us like cats and dogs the next moment, then goes back to being absolutely fantastic. However, it seems to be kind of consistent, Landon. The rain has kind of come either really early in the morning or near dinner time and everything. Is that what your models are showing us? Yeah, we're definitely in that wet pattern that we've been talking about, that transition to the wet season. So what I did, I just turned my camera around. We're looking at the water vapor imagery, showing you the moisture content in the atmosphere. And so remember earlier in the year when I was talking to Chris and Sabrina about this very animation, the yellows were very dry air. And you notice there's not too much yellow on the screen. We're seeing a lot more light blue, deep blue, and even white. That is high moisture content. So we're going to move out just a little bit, and this is where we're looking at that, the plume of the deep moisture, the whites right there. That's associated with the deep convection, the showers and thunderstorms that are zipping off just to our south. And this little spinner right there, that's the upper level low, the touch cell that has been influencing the weather just a little bit. Gave us some showers and thunderstorms overnight and some brief heavy downpours. And again, that's typical with these upper level features once they come bowling through the area. And that's typical for this time of the year from May through October or November. And so they are also known for being prolific lightning generators. When they're combined with like a surface feature, a surface trough with this upper level feature, it works as like a vacuum right across here on the southeast quadrant of that circulation. You get those combinations together, you can get some torrential downfall or downpours, vivid lightning, and we've had that from time to time here on Guam. They don't always line up perfectly, but when they do, you can get quite a show over there. So I'm going to zoom back into the water vapor and switch lenses to the visible. And this is what you would see if you're looking down on Earth. Now that makes a lot more sense to a noob like me. And so, yeah, this is the visible imagery showing what's out there. So all that moisture that you saw, that was pretty much in the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere. But when you open up the visible imagery, you're seeing that low level stuff. See the low levels zipping in from the east. Those are the trade wind flow that's right across the area, with the deepest stuff down to our south. That's where the showers and thunderstorms are, just offshore with that overcast over Mauricio, Inarajan, and south central Guam. So really not that bad for us across Guam and the CNMI to the north. We just maybe some light spotty showers. We'll get a little bit of a development up here, but that's all moving toward the west and not a threat to anybody in the CNMI. Yeah, Landon, I know you always work in concert with our friends at Homeland Security and the Office of Civil Defense. And, like whenever any advisories come out and everything, you certainly have a voice to some degree in that. I've seen a lot of thunderstorm advisories come out maybe over like the last 4 or 5 days. Sometimes they prove to be true. Sometimes they pan out to be very little. Sometimes they're nothing and everything. Of course, cautious is always the best way to go. Play defense, of course, that whole mentality. Yes. But why are we having so many of these thunderstorm warnings these days? And a lot of them, we don't actually see thunder. Yeah, and that's actually more of an internal bulletin that we put out. Those thunderstorm warnings, those are not geared so much for the broader public, but more or less it's something in support of the airport operations here at the airport. So the aviation weather warnings that we put out, that's for a thunderstorm advisory, meaning that lightning is possible or is occurring within 20 miles of the airport complex. And then we have a thunderstorm warning, which means that lightning is possible or occurring within 5 miles of the airport complex. That's really for the people that are working out there on the tarmac, the runway, servicing the aircraft inbound and outbound, and also for the aircraft that's coming and going as well. Gotcha. So that's more of a internal bulletin that we issue. So make sure you look at the header. We don't always put that on our social media, but sometimes it does get out to the media that there is a thunderstorm warning. And of course, it's just a nice to know.
Exactly, because I guess, operationally, depending on what kind of organization you belong to, nobody wants thunder or lightning. We all want the wonderful island, weather. That's why we live here. That's why we love it here. But I guess it's a lot different than if you've got a thunder and lightning likelihood over Micronesia Mall or over a school or at the airport. The airport's a completely different animal. I mean, those guys take that really, really seriously, because that really can throw a monkey wrench in their operations.
Yeah, that's exactly it, because you have luggage to and from the airport to the aircraft. You have people out there on the tarmac directing the aircraft, and you don't want to be standing out there if lightning's coming down.
Yeah.
And actually, when I was flying out of Kansas City I think it was last week, all these trips are running together, but I was flying out of Kansas City, and I heard the gate attendant saying that Chicago International Airport was on a ground stop, all stop. And so I looked at the radar, and sure enough, they had torrential rainfall, thunderstorms all over the airport complex, and it was training over them. Looked like they were going to be dealing with it for several hours. So fortunately, I was flying through Newark Airport out of New York City that day. Otherwise, I would have been delayed or missed the flight.
And, I've been into the airport of which you speak. That's O'Hare Airport in Chicago, right? I mean, they literally have a flight arriving like every minute. I mean, if you're lucky enough to have like a window seat, just look out the side there and you can already see like 3-4 planes lining up behind you.
Yes.
So their operational tempo is like insane.
Yeah, when they have a ground stop for weather, it's a major impact, and it causes flight delays and cancellations all across the United States and even some international destinations, because all that traffic backs up. That's what we call convergence. All that traffic is going to start converging, and then you have to figure out something with it. In the nature, when we're dealing with convergence in the nature, that's when you start getting that clouds. Those clouds start building up, and we want to see that convergence, and that's where you get the showers and thunderstorms.
Okay, I do want to ask you like a little bit of maybe some consumerism, Landon, if I may, because I know you're not a dad yet. You and I like share that. Like you and I don't have any kids, but we have nieces and nephews, right? And you've got a little one that's probably going to start getting ready for school, or like you've got a bunch of friends who have kids, right? What should parents be thinking about as far as the articles of clothing that they should be buying heading into this fall? Should they say, well, maybe I might want to buy like a raincoat or a slicker, or maybe is it shorts season?
Yeah, definitely check with the schools first. Growing up in the States, we did not have school uniform. I think we had a generalized dress code, just be conservative and not too sloppy. But check with your local school here that your kid will be attending, and find out any kind of uniform policy, dress code that they have. But always plan on a rain jacket, because they may be standing at the bus stop and they may get wet. And even if the rain is coming down, that wind could be accompanying that rainfall. And so even though you might be under cover, that wind's going to still blow stuff on you. A lot of times we carry an umbrella to and from our car, but everything from your waist down is soaked because of the trade winds. So keep that in mind, but also rain shoes, walking through puddles. A lot of schools don't have all their walkways covered. So make sure they have good, appropriate shoes for getting out in the water and the mud. And a jacket for inside, because sometimes these schools will be very chilly. I've been to several schools and the classrooms have some powerful air conditioning.
Oh yeah.
So make sure you have that a jacket for inside, but then also the typical, I lost my train of thought. My camera just died on me.
Well, basically,
but always.
Yeah, so is there any truth to the myth? I'll let you go after this, because I know you're Mr. PowerPoint today because you got a presentation you're gearing up for. But is there any truth, final question, to the fact that Guam's raindrops are so much heavier than what our friends in the States see? Because I've been to Seattle and people are like, oh, it always rains, and I walked out, I was like, this is nothing. I mean, yeah, it's all the time, but it's just a drizzle. Here you get hit like in the eye with like a raindrop. You're not a happy camper.
It's all about those updrafts. And so sometimes you can get to very strong convective updrafts and downdrafts, and the raindrops get a lot of mass to them, especially when you get the hailstones with the freezing level up aloft. You can get raindrops that will hit your windshield and it pops them loud and hard on the glass. Yep. But other times you get very small droplets, more of like a drizzle or sprinkle. So it varies. It really depends on what the atmosphere is doing, the updrafts and the downdrafts. And when we have the weather like we've had here recently, you get those strong updrafts and then those downpours. That's where you can see the larger raindrops.
I got to tell you, for those of you who are in the mainland right now, if you've never been to Guam and never been like under one of our tarps or tents, and once the rain hits and you have to
beautiful.
experience it for, yeah, beautiful. There you go. A beautiful way to end our segment. So Lennon, I know you got another trip coming up. So as always, we wish you safe travels, and hope the movie on the flight is good, and hope they give you some very nourishing snacks.
Absolutely. And I look forward to it. I will see y'all next week from somewhere.
All right. Travel safe, my friend. We appreciate it as always.
Thank you.
That's Monday weather forecast with Landon Isla from the National Weather Service. We are back with more Hotspot after this.
Say hello to the first Hawaiian Bank mobile app. Want a better look at your spending? With Money Map, you can automatically create budgets and manage where your money is going. Know when you have a green light or when it's time to slow down. Maybe cook more meals at home this week. Set your goals, track your progress, and find your way to exactly where you want to be. With Money Map from the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app. It all starts with yes.
As the Decision 2022 race shapes up, keep it with KUAM News for all the news you need to know as you head to the polls. From weekly candidate profile analysis on the Hub on KUAM News Hotspot to our online candidate directory on KUAM.com, special features on KUAM Digital and KUAM News Primetime, plus live coverage of forums and debates. We're your one-stop source on every platform. Stay informed with KUAM News, your news leader, the voice of the Marianas.
It's Feed Me Fridays on KUAM News Hotspot. Good eats, good company, and beyond good chow. With Team KUAM, checking out Guam's most tantalizing, tempting menu items. Every Friday on KUAM News Hotspot or stream online. Brought to you by Devondale. Real milk from free grazing cows.
Lunches. Snacks. We got diapers for baby girl. Oh, 7:15, we gotta go. Bread, milk, gas for work. Remember to grab Joe Boy a birthday present. Half a day.
Hey, Molly, how much do you pay for daycare for the kids?
Over $600 a month. It's expensive.
Did you hear about the governor's program that covers up to $675 a month for childcare?
Wow, that would be a lifesaver with the rising cost of everything.
Check GuamChildCare.com to apply. We qualified. I even booked an appointment for someone to walk me through the process.
GuamChildCare.com. Okay, thanks. I'll apply today.
This ad is paid for with federal funds administered by DPHSS.
All right, everybody, that is going to do it for our show. But please make sure to check us out on the live stream tomorrow because candidate conversations continue, and we will have, scheduled to appear, incumbent Senator Amanda Shelton, also Sarah Thomas Nedadog. She's done work recently with the OHAP, that was the organization that manages the resources to take care of our island's homeless. She's also, of course, been in charge of Sanctuary Incorporated. And Dr. Sam Mabini Young, a former senator herself, a technologist. She's got a data science background. She's also the former general manager of KGTF, Public Broadcasting. Three amazing island ladies seeking your endorsement to be your next senator in the 37th KUAM legislature. That's tomorrow. I've still got the feels from that interview with Andy, so please do watch it again because some really, really good stuff. And thank you, all of you, for adding in your comments, your reaction emoji, just telling Andy that you're sending him your very best. I know he really felt that. So that's going to do it for us here on the Hotspot. For all of us at KUAM, we wish you a good lunch and a good rest of your afternoon. Bye-bye.